Recently, Vaxee sent me a little care package with 2 mice and 1 pad. I'll talk you through the XE-S and the E1 gaming mice shortly, and then we'll cover the Vaxee PC Gaming mousepad. It's quite a unique pad, so stick around for that one if you want to. You can use the timestamps to jump around, but if you like the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for your favourite log. Let's get into it. So I'll start with the XE-S, which is a mouse that went from 0 to hero for me in a few play sessions. I wasn't really a huge fan of the shape initially, but after I played with it for a while, its character started to win me over. And if you weren't aware, the XE-S is a smaller version of the Vaxee XE, which is a claw-focused shape competing with the Logitech Superlight. The XE-S is quite a small mouse, and the size, coupled with its low hump height, results in a very minimal hump contact in my palm. I get next to no contact in there at all. Of course, this will vary from person to person depending on their hand size, and mine are 21 by 10.5 centimeters, which is relatively large in this scene, but I predominantly use fingertip grip with the XE-S with all of these things considered. Instead of contact in your palm, the XE-S has these little tongues on the back edges of the hump that tuck into your fleshy parts of your hand. It almost feels like someone's pinched the edge of some Play-Doh, drawing out the edges in those back 2 corners. So this feels really nice to me. I can rest my pinky knuckle on that back tongue if I want to for extra stability, and just lift it off if I need more range with my fingertip motion. Alternatively, I can pull the mouse further back into my hand and use the underside of my thumb flesh for extra stability too, so I get nice contact under the flesh of my hand here and here. It's quite a nice feeling, and my grip is quite dynamic and fluid while using the XE-S. The sides of the XE-S have a very slight bow to them instead of the usual taper you see on so many mice these days. The shape of the sides of the mouse is quite relaxed. There aren't too many obvious anchor points for fingers to tuck into to support your grip. But the flatter and less shapely sides offer more flexibility to those of you that don't like to be restricted by the contours of your mouse. My experience is that it requires just a little bit more finger pressure to get a good grip though, so be aware of that. The quality and buttons are the same on both the E1 and the XE-S, so I'll cover those in a later section of the video. So, onto the E1, and I honestly wasn't expecting Vaxee to send me this unit, so thank you to them for doing so. It's always a fun time opening brand care packages, because sometimes you often have no idea what you're going to get. This mouse is really heavily inspired by the Vaxee EC2, which is a fan favourite ergo mouse, and I personally wasn't a massive fan of the EC2 because it felt too narrow for me. I prefer to use the bigger EC1, which was more size appropriate given my hand size. But maybe my preferences have changed since I bought the EC2 because the E1 feels really nice in claw and fingertip grip. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do, quite pleasantly surprised with this one. If you know me, you know I love asymmetrical mice because it gives your finger some really nice anchor points on the right hand side of the mouse for finger placement. It's the same deal here with the E1. The finger shelf offers nice anchor points for my fingers, and I enjoy the overall shape of the E1. It's a nice size, it's not too heavy or light, and overall it's a great option for medium hand-sized gamers. So because my hands are a bit bigger at 21 by 10.5 centimeters, I find I can comfortably claw and fingertip grip the E1, and often use a hybrid grip in my gunfights. The E1 has a mid hump and a slow climb up the back of the mouse to the middle, so it's easy to pull out of my palm and manoeuvre with my fingers, and then pull it back into my palm again when I want the extra stability. I like the narrow front and the fat back end. It feels great for tracking, flicking scenarios. Overall, it's a very comfortable and versatile mouse. I don't lack any stability on this thing. I really like it. So looking at the quality of these mice, I'm honestly really impressed. The clicks on the old mice felt fractionally more crispy to me, which, if I'm honest, I missed that. But the overall quality of the clicks has improved so much, I think it's a good change overall. There were a lot of complaints with the previous iterations of these mice that there was a lot of side-to-side wobble. There's only very marginal side-to-side wobble now, and there's absolutely no grinding. It's great to see that improvement from Vaxee. Just a bit of a sound test now for the clicks. Really satisfying. And then the scroll wheel as well is really nice, nicely defined. Not too smooth, not too jumpy in those clicks. And then the actuation of that is also quite enjoyable. Not too stiff, not too light. Side buttons also great. No complaints there at all. Placement really nice. And it's exactly the same deal for the XE-S. It's just a different shape. I almost forgot to mention that Vaxee mice all come with a 4K dongle in the box with 4K capability, and you can make those adjustments through a series of button presses on the bottom of the mouse if you'd like to change it. So I typically play on 1K because I prefer long battery life, but if you want to get those epic gamer gains, you can put it up to 4K. Get shorter battery life as a result, but you will have that capability all built into the mouse out of the box. The coating is pretty good on both of my units. You know, I've always been a big fan of the Vaxee coating, and that hasn't changed noticeably here. My fingers don't slip on the mouse, and that's what I need from a coating. I don't need any more, I don't need any less. Keep my fingers in place, I'm happy. The weight of the mice feel like a good balance to me too. You know, the rigidity of the shell is still there, but the mice feel noticeably lighter than my MP01 and AX. And that will be a change that's well received by the community, I'm sure, despite me looking back at my MP01 and AX with love eyes. I quite enjoy the weight of those mice. Personally, as I say, I like heavier mice as much as I like the lighter stuff. They both have their place on my desk, but I do worry about all mice conforming to lower weights. You know, heavy weights for me are more consistent and offer a distinctly different, not worse, experience than lightweight offerings. Lightweight offerings tend to be a little bit more exciting and quicker to move around, whereas heavier mice, for me personally, tend to keep my aim where it needs to be without any flash and, you know, any of that extra zhuzh that you might get from a lightweight mouse. So now we're going to talk about the Vaxee PC, and that's the pad we're on today. And this is a pad that I didn't know was coming either, and it is genuinely so good. I really like it for the consistency it offers. You know, the base is very firm. There is almost no give at all in the base, and it's harder than any firm base that I've used in the past. I have no issue playing with dots on this pad at all. As with most Vaxee pads, the surface is incredibly smooth and tightly woven. You know, it's a medium speed, or rather a hybrid feeling surface. It's been a blast to use in Apex and Marvel Rivals. When compared to the Vaxee PA, which is a well-known control pad, the PC feels significantly less tuggy on your skates and offers also a lot less stopping power, while not being too fast or difficult to use. It brings the mouse to a nice steady stop rather than a sudden jolt you sometimes get on the Vaxee PA and other control surfaces. The construction is quite unique as well. You know, there's no stitching at all, and it's very aesthetic on the desk. But I only have had the pad for a few weeks now, and I can't comment on how it will hold up over time with sustained use. So I will continue to use it, and we'll see how it holds up over time. The base is really sticky, and I have no issues with it sticking to my desk at all. A slight nitpick I have with black or dark block coloured pads is that they're really difficult to keep clean, and I can always see specks of dust on this pad, even after wiping it. And I'd love to see a design on this pad in the future so that it can hide the dust and the specks of whatever it is that's on there, so that I can live in my game of filth without feeling disgusting while I do it. Overall, I really like the PC pad. You know, it feels like a hybrid between a hard pad due to the firmness of the base and a control cloth pad because of the surface, which means you're left with a really nice, versatile cloth pad. Is that too close? Hang on. Zoom out! Zoom out! Log! So I want to say a big thank you to Vaxee for sending me these products for review. I genuinely really enjoy them, and I look forward to using the PC pad more going forwards. All right, have a wicked Christmas, people. Ciao bella, bye-bye.